Hello, I'm Mary Hughes. I write steamy, wickedly fun urban fantasy and romance. This is Biting Christmas Abridged. Nixie and Julian slide into a hot tub honeymoon, but things turn nasty when Santa Vamp and Mrs. Claus show up. This story has been edited for streaming to tone down the intimate scenes. However, the bedroom door is not closed, but ajar. Listen at your own discretion. Biting Christmas Abridged, Part 3. Nixie and Julian are celebrating their first night together as a married couple when they're interrupted. I clinked my champagne flute to his. A toast to the first night of the rest of our lives. To the rest of this night. His eyes nailed mine, blue irises banding wide pupils, red flames dancing in them. To taking you every way known to man or vampire, and more. Hoo-ha! I drank. After a toast like that, with the images of the full honeymoon treatment, I needed the cooling. I set my glass down and reached for him. Good. Great. Round two? He smiled, his eyes heating again to that sexy violet. He reached for me. Certainly. Help! Someone, please, help! Stab me with mistletoe. It was my honeymoon, so of freaking course someone needed rescuing. Paper cut? I asked hopefully. Human female. Julian's face went hunter mode, his skin plating, his eyes blazing red. And with the human, a vampire. He looked to me for permission. That was nice. After all, it was our wedding night. But if a rogue vampire was involved, only Julian could handle it. I kissed him. Go get him, tiger. His faceplate faded, replaced by confusion. I sighed. Julian was wicked hardcore in the sex department, but when it came to pop culture, he was centuries out of date. Mega flashing 12 syndrome. Spider-Man 2. Go. Ah, thank you. He dissolved into mist and went. I hope he picked up his pants on the way. I dressed and followed. The sound of blows led me to the end of the hallway. I thought I'd find Julian tangled with a gaunt rogue vampire, a beautiful woman crumpled at their feet. But no. The vampire was dressed as Santa Claus. He was getting the cookies beaten out of him by a Mrs. Santa of a woman with white hair, a green London fog coat, and red high heels. She thrashed Santa with a giant roll of prancing reindeer wrapping paper. I'd have laughed, but she also bashed at Julian, swinging that gift wrap like a sledgehammer. Julian dodged a particularly nasty crotch shot while he tried to subdue Santa, which put Julian right in the path of her backswing. She cracked one of his kneecaps. Vampires feel everything more, the good and the bad. Julian fell to his uninjured knee with a grimace. Instantly, Mrs. Santa turned back to Santa Vamp. She was just human, but she kept wailing on him until he cringed like a henpecked old elf. Then she turned her deadly gift-wrapped fighting stick on Julian, and this time she aimed for his head. Julian needed an assist, so I ran in to help. Yes, the Clauses outweighed me by a couple 100 pounds, but I'm tricky. I hit the floor and rolled. The little bowling ball that could. They toppled. Unfortunately, they fell on me. While I gasped for air, Julian twisted up, his knee already healed, pulled Santa Vamp off me, and planted his patrol blade in his heart. Santa Vamp tried to pull the knife out, but Julian grabbed furred wrists and kept him from it. As the two vampires battled, the woman scrabbled to her feet and ran away. I dragged in sweet oxygen. "Stop her!" Santa croaked. Julian's knife protruded from his chest. It wouldn't kill a vampire, but it would make circulation and breathing difficult. I think not. My husband, ever the lawyer. Why use one word when 3 would do? Santa Vamp expelled his last breath. Stats. His head thumped back to the floor. Julian and I exchanged an uncomfortable look. We'd nailed the wrong bad guy. I hope you've enjoyed Part 3 of Biting Christmas. Written by Mary Hughes, copyright 2008-2016. Join me soon for Part 4. Thanks for listening.